because we had to pick.
Alright, I'll check it when
Maybe
the.
Lord.
I think
Yeah.
when you go to a different screen while downloading, it stops the download. Like if I press this, it'll stop the download.
I see, I see.
So you have a mid. Oh, okay. You had a mid PL and then like an off lane.
Yeah.
Sand King
I mean,
probably.
we lost this game because we had bad supports, right? But
Okay.
I wanna see how we look at it and how I could have done better anyway, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sure that it's not like I done the best I could.
Yeah.
The disruptor was horrible, and that was the main problem.
You
the
were
mix
8th pick.
was also kind of sad.
Yeah.
8? Alright. Okay, so it was not late pick.
And you had the mango to start the game.
Yep.
So you went wand, which is good.
Actually, okay, you'll see it at the start, but that was my first mistake.
What?
I went wand before Killing Blade.
Gotcha.
I never do that, but okay, just ignore it for this replay.
Okay.
I never do that, but it's I don't remember exactly why I did that. I think it was just I had it queued up and something like that.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, I will get the Killing Blade instantly, and that led me to losing like 5 last hits or something.
I wouldn't have gotten this fairy fire either.
Yeah, I realized after the game that the fairy fire, like, I shouldn't have gotten.
Yeah.
It was the first time that I had the extra gold, and I thought, okay, what do I do with it?
Yeah.
Let's try and get a fairy fire.
And then I'm assuming your logic with getting the wand is probably you have too many slots. Like you want.
Yeah. Oh, right. Exactly. That was exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Which I mean, you know after the fact that it's wrong, so I'm not gonna say too much about it. And then the fairy fire, I don't like it because like you want to be getting your. You guys got 3 of the runes, did you? I think. No, you got 2 of them.
Oh.
But you want your quelling blade like instantly. Like you could have bought your quelling blade right now.
Yep.
But you have the fairy fire instead. I don't like that you're chasing here.
Yeah, I went back.
You missed the last hit for it, and you didn't really like do anything.
Yeah, and here I missed the last hit because of the Killing Blade.
Yeah.
And here I will miss on the tower, I think, or something like that. No? Okay. But I can't push this out because I don't have a Killing Blade, and I missed that one too.
Well, I would be possibly spinning it down, except for if they weren't there, I would have probably spun that down. The creep wave, but they were there, so if you did, you would have taken a lot of. And then yeah, now you're feeling the quelling blade.
Yep, exactly.
You probably missed like 6 or 7 last hits.
Yep.
But like that, if you didn't have that fairy fire, you could have had your quelling blade that whole time.
And I wouldn't have missed any of those.
Your lane mechanics are fine. You're trying to pull it back, which is correct. I like it.
Missed that one. Oops. I'm yelling, do not pull right now. I didn't like this pull because like right now it fucks things up.
It's actually not that bad. That was a good pull because it resets the creep wave exactly where you want it to be if you hold it here.
Yeah, but I could have pulled it back anyway, and we could have. Okay, maybe I got it wrong.
Yeah, that one was fine. Yeah. That was a good pull.
No, maybe I'm remembering like another game where I was against pulling. Because I remembered that they started harassing me here, and I probably confusing with another game. I had another game where I. when I got harassed a lot because of bad pulls.
Have you been practicing your last hitting at all?
A long time ago.
You should go in. It's super easy now.
I use that. Yeah.
You should
that a few times.
Yeah, you should be doing 3 minutes a day ish. Go in with Shadow Fiend and just do 3 minutes of last hitting with that. Write down what your score is and try and beat it every time. Or like don't even try and beat it. Just like keep writing it down, and in like 2 weeks you'll see that you're getting like 30% more last hits with the hardest hero to last hit in the game with, which means you're gonna be hitting like instead of 60% of your last hits in this game, you're gonna be hitting like 90% of them.
So you think that I'm missing a lot of last hits here?
Yeah. A lot of them are skill-based last hits that you're missing. Like, you probably have missed, like, 600 gold. Or not 6... Probably around 300 or 400 gold that if you were perfect at last hitting, you would have had. And that means right now you would have had your phase boots. And then, would you agree that if you have your phase boots, or, like, you'd be able to buy it?
Nice.
Yeah, the lane would be completely different. You want to keep your healing ward farther back, like.
I'm training on that micro.
Yeah,
I haven't been playing a lot on this.
It's pretty hard. The best way to do it is just like throw it in the trees, or somewhere that they can't see it, and where it's back. So you go up for a last hit, and then you run back into the healing range, and then you go up for a last hit. So that it's not only hidden, but it's also too far away for them to get to it.
And here I die. I'm clicking the wand here. I'm clicking the wand and I fail.
Ah, I gotcha.
Yeah, I wanted wand then fairy fire.
Yep.
And like, I think it was the second instance of damage from the ranged attack from apparition that killed me, and that's why I didn't. Because I was looking at the push attack animation.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah,
it's just kind of like you wanted to wand either way. If it saves you or it doesn't, you wanted to wand, so you would have had mana for your ward. So there was no point in waiting it out there.
Yeah, that's true.
And then with this Wraith Band, I would have... wait, actually, did you have the gold?
To buy the Sabi Mask?
I was thinking a Clarity. I would have probably sold the Fairy Fire and got a Clarity there.
I see. And I don't know what I was trying to do here. Thought I would get in range.
You didn't need to use your ult there.
Yep. And that keeps me from... yeah, I thought about it the moment I used it.
Yeah. Well, this game, it's a lot of, like, you know what you're doing wrong. It's just kind of like one of those games where you're learning from all of this. Like, you don't need me to point all of this out. Like, you know most of the mistakes that you've made so far, they're kind of like... You learn from them instantly after they happen, which is good, and that's what I want to be. I'd rather coach you into a position where you can learn from your own mistakes than having me have to point out all of your.
Sorry, connection kind of.
Okay. What I was saying is, it's good that you're realizing your own mistakes because I'd rather coach you to be able to learn from your mistakes rather than me telling you all of your mistakes, because then you're like self-sufficient. So this is good, and you're realizing most of your mistakes. The spin there was fine. You have wand charges. You have Aquila.
Yeah, I mostly wanna. Okay, we're looking at the laning phase, but I'm more interested in mid-game movements or things like that.
I mean, the laning phase influences the later game, so it's hard to just skip the laning phase because there could be something like, oh, this is right here. If you had the courier at the secret shop, you would have had your demon edge here, and then you would have had, when you die, you're gonna lose around 200 gold that you would have only lost like 130. Now you don't have gold for the demon edge, so like a little mistakes like that, it could be like you go to a lane and if you had a demon edge, you get a kill. So it's like compounding mistakes that I can point out because I've watched the early game.
I'm still trying to buy out before dying, but I do it pretty rarely.
Yeah. I also would like to point out that I'd like to see you get the Ring of Health earlier when you're in a contested lane.
I didn't feel like I needed it here because I was contested at first, then when I had the gold I was not contested anymore. And
well, it's kind of like, is the Demon Edge going to increase your farm speed at all?
I'm not sure. I just didn't get the chance to go to the secret shop cleanly, right? And get some.
Well,
some item.
The point that I'm making is
build the perseverance first.
Yeah, the perseverance would have been better because what you're doing is you're just last-hitting lane creeps. So you're spending 2,200 gold for an item that's like less than 50 or less than twice as good as Quelling Blade for what you're doing. Does that make sense?
Yep. I don't. You will notice right now that I'm flying my perseverance.
You get it, but you get it late, and it would have been much nicer to have it much sooner. So it's another one of those mistakes that you're probably realizing into the game. And it can also help with your farm speed more than Demon Edge because you could have spun this wave down and then went and took the jungle because you do have all of the mana regen from these two items.
I'm scared of Patch here.
Where would he kill you from? Yeah, I think you're scared from the nighttime. It's also, if you position yourself in the middle of the creep wave, like if you run right here and spin, and you just like move around a lot, it's almost impossible for him to hit a hook because the creeps will be blocking you consistently.
Right.
And then also, if you can react to the hook, you can just phase through the creeps that are like right next to you and get out of the hook. The only places that he would be able to hook you from are over here and like right here. So if you're like right here behind this creep when you're spinning, then he can't hook you at all. Or if you have to position it more off the range creep. So if you ran like here and then doubled back and ran like right here, the creeps would have been bunched up in a way that it's almost impossible for him to hit a hook from over there or over there. And then you can instantly kill off this creep wave. But I think you're scared because it's nighttime, and then you, yeah.
And then the creep wave is almost dead.
Yeah. then you want to move your stout shield. And I'd probably be dropping the healing ward. Because you're full mana, and it's like, you can die at 800 health, but you can't really die at 1200.
Alright, yeah. And right now I will be able to contest the decay more.
Yeah, and it's, you have your Battle Fury, you're not trying to, like, do anything, like, amazing. You're just trying to get your farm up. Also, you can use this while spinning.
I do that.
Okay. I think you did it at the, like, last second that you could.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you used your healing ward before, you would have been at, like...
DCP is bad. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
I could stay here.
At the very least, if you wanted to TP out, I would have TP'd, like, to the shrine, so that you can go jungle.
It was a panic TP.
Yeah. But yeah, most of the stuff you're, like, recognizing on your own, which is really good.
I'm sad about that word.
And then now you... So why are you going back top?
Yeah, I should have moved bottom?
Yeah. And the reason for that is, if they go top and they kill you, they get the tower also. So it's kind of like, you're putting all of the things that they want to do in one place. So it's very easy for them to get a lot of things by making one correct play. Whereas if you go bottom here, do they really want to put a lot of strong ganking heroes bottom?
Mm-hmm.
Because if they kill you, what the fuck do they get? Like, even if they do damage on this, they're probably not going to take it. And if they do take it, it doesn't really change anything at all. But if they get a kill on you here, they're definitely also getting this tower, and then when they get this tower, you lose a lot of control over these three camps, and Roshan. So, if you went bottom, you would have either made them move all their strong heroes bottom, and your TP would have been off cooldown by the time that they get there, and then you can go top. Or they would have went top, and you would have been able to free farm bottom.
Alright. Yeah, that sounds right.
And then also now you and PL are...
I didn't realize here that we're 4k behind. Like, I thought we were, like, even.
Well, you guys kind of... They have 2 towers on you. Or 1 tower on you, I should say. And they have 5 kills.
Hit the tower, leave that guy.
I would have punched it like once or twice, maybe. Now that you see all of them TPing in, you want to get back. And this is good. Now they have all these fucking people bottom.
I can go top.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, if you did that before, they wouldn't have got the top tower. So you would have been going back to the lane when you can push it like here, and then do all these camps, and then push it back out again, and then do all these camps. But now, you can push it to like here before it's kind of dangerous, and then these camps are still kind of dangerous, because you don't have any vision here, except for that guy. But yeah, does that make sense? All of that? Why you would want to go bottom?
Yep.
Would you be able to make that decision on your own if you were in this game again?
If I pay more attention to the lanes and the minimap.
Yeah.
That's a common mistake I make, I think.
Yeah, it's a hard one to fix, but
not paying enough attention, because I know the theory, right? I've been watching BSJ videos.
Yeah.
he talks about this all the time.
Yeah. But, he's the one that I got it from. And then lol.
Yeah, this was sad, but
This is good.
And I'm happy here.
Well, the only thing... Right. I don't really like that you came bottom, though. Like, it ends up being fine.
Being top, but I guess I had to... Well, if Dedicate didn't show up... Oh, ITP because I see 2 heroes here.
Yeah, but you see them on the minimap, but you don't actually know what the situation is. Like, you're TPing into 2 heroes that are dead, with or without you.
Yeah. And
then, like, you just so happen to get rewarded with a Dazzle and a DK, but you don't...
That shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, you don't... That's not information that you have at all. So you made the decision based off of not having these 2 kills as even, like, a thought.
I probably thought they're like, why did I TP here? But
yeah, it ended up being fine, so it's like one of those mistakes that you probably don't feel like is that huge of a mistake. Because you're like, oh yeah, we got 2 kills here. This was a good TP, but like in actuality it was a good TP, but in theory it was a bad one.
Because of luck.
Yeah.
Because of low MMR.
Yeah. I don't like your positioning here is not good. You want to be positioning so that the Pudge can't land an easy hook on you, ever.
I always get hooked by Pudge.
Yeah, it's because you're positioning like this. If he's sitting like right here, you're an easy-ass hook, and you don't know that this guy doesn't have his ult. So if Pudge and AA are sitting right here, you get hook ulted, and then this guy ults you and you just die. But if you positioned yourself, like you're running, yeah, you want to be positioned more like here, but you want to be closer here so that this hook is also hard. So you want to predict where the Pudge is going to be, which is either here or here, and then position yourself close to the creeps here so it blocks a lot of the different angles. And then also keep your finger on your phase boots, because if you see a hook come out here, you can phase, like, if you're standing right here, you can phase, like, right here, and then it'll block it with the creeps.
Yeah, that's on space, that's my favorite key.
Yeah. And then, like, right here,
you can hook me.
Easy hook, easy hook.
There.
Yeah, easy hook, easy hook, easy hook, even easier hook. You're moving out of the way to make it as easy for him as possible. And then he misses. But yeah, you made it like the easiest like he could hit.
Yep, okay.
And that's just something like you'll die like 3% of the times because you do it and it costs you nothing to fix it. So it's like buying out where there's no reason not to be doing it. And then here, this is more, you're positioning in a way. Yeah, you're positioning in a way that you open up his opportunity to hit a hook. Which ends up good, so you probably feel like it wasn't a bad thing.
Horrible.
Oh, ends up horrible, so hopefully you feel like it was a bad thing.
Ends up horrible because I'm yelling at the Disruptor to use Disruption on Right King because he has a Radiance, so the illusions are crazy strong.
Yeah. Or you could just not get hooked. That's another...
Yeah, that's also another way.
This is good. You can't... I would have killed this wave.
Right now.
I would have killed this wave because you're in the middle. It would have taken you 2 or 3 more seconds to take this, and then if they stay here and slow push it for like 30 seconds, your creeps are going to be taking this tower. So by you spending another 2 or 3 seconds, they're put on a timer that, like right now, the creeps are actually going to push to your tower. if
Yep.
nothing happens here. So you guys,
Yeah,
if they sit here, they can sit here, and then you're also on a timer for this tower. Whereas if you spent 2 more seconds, you would have put this on a timer. Does that make sense?
Yes, I mean that was my thought process, but I've seen the SK ultimate and I just like TP'd instantly. Okay, I TP'd before that, but I don't know, I guess. Oh my god, fight is starting. Here I mess up a bit, but I mess up big time actually.
Yeah, I think the thing that should be going through your mind is what needs to happen for this push to be stopped. And
they need to go back.
Well, yeah. Does killing this Dazzle stop them from pushing? Not really. With your guys dead.
3 heroes dead.
Yeah.
I didn't realize here 2 heroes are dead. At least that SK died. I realized that like too slow. I think that was the thing.
Your PL has to buy back. Lol.
And here they all die.
Yeah.
Because he has Aegis and ultimate. I thought I would get him on the way back, but didn't. Oh, and we're 12k behind right now. I didn't think we were that far behind.
So with your, what does killing the Wraith King do? If you went and fought the Wraith King, what would killing him do?
I can push top.
Is that worth the chance of you just dying?
Like he doesn't have anything, but that's why I don't go with him. Like I've seen him on. Okay, that's 10 seconds.
Yeah, if he like, he also has a blink, so it's you have to initiate with this, or he's just gonna be gone.
That was my plan actually, like catch him here, but he will have vision on me, so I was kinda...
It's very hard. Like I'm looking at the chances of you succeeding and the impact that you succeeding will have, and it's like, the chances are like maybe 30% chance you kill the Wraith King based on him running the direction that you're gonna catch him, and him going uphill, which lets you break his blink dagger, and you kill him quick enough that the reincarnate isn't on cooldown and all of that. I say there's like maybe a 30 or 20% chance that happens, and then what is the actual impact that's gonna happen if you do get the kill? He's gonna die, but you guys aren't gonna push any towers or anything. You might get some gold, he might lose some, but you're not gonna actually accomplish anything. And then, what if Pudge, instead of running this way, ran this way, and he ults you? Like, Pudge could very well be right here. He could see you TPing in, you could run up here, Pudge could ult you here, the Wraith King could blink over, stun you, and then, like, by then, this guy's ult would be back up. You would ult, and then you would probably kill the Wraith King, he'd come back to life, and you'd die again. And then the game's over.
I see.
So it's kind of like, the chances of what you're trying to do working is so low, the amount of impact that it'll have is also so low, and then the chances of you just literally losing the game because of what you're doing right here it's kind of low, but it's still, you could just lose the game right here. Does all that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
But on the other hand, I can juke the hook and manta dodge the stun and then kill them all.
Yeah, or you could just die.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that sounds clear to me. I often do this kind of moves, I guess.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I used to do a lot of those plays too, and then I realized, like, a lot of the times I'd be like, oh yeah, there's definitely not a Pudge here, but like, you think that like a million times and you die like so many of them, and then you're like, alright, well, there's a 5% chance he's here, and I don't really want to 5% just lose the game right now.
Alright.
This is good. You got some lucky bounces. You got the pudge kill. You should be dropping your healing ward like a lot sooner.
During the Omni Slash?
Probably. It's just kind of like, you don't need it right now, but you know you're going to need it eventually, right?
It's just that kind of thing that I don't micro it so well, so I lose it.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're not microing it, it's still an attack that the enemies have to throw out. And it's gonna...
PL would have a lot more health.
Yeah.
And the Disruptor would be full, probably.
And when you're using your Omni Slash, you're not doing anything else. So you could have... I think you can use your... I know you can use it while you're spinning. I think you can also use it while you're ulting.
Yes, you can.
But yeah,
you have to spam it, though. You have to spam it.
You can drop it and then move command it onto your PL. Because, like, what are you doing mechanically right now during this whole Omni Slash?
I'm looking at the bounces.
Yeah, you could have dropped the healing ward, thrown it on the PL. The PL would have had like 400, 500 more health by the time you get out of the Omni Slash. Or not by the time...
Even here.
Yeah.
Or at least here and put it on the high ground.
Yeah. But yeah, I think if you played this game perfectly, the game was definitely winnable. Or not like perfectly, but like if you just... There were mistakes that you definitely could have just not made, that if you didn't make them, you could have won the game. So this was a winnable game for you.
Oh my god, the hooks again.
Yeah. You've gotten hooked so many times that you just, like, didn't need to be hooked.
I'm always getting hooked, with all heroes in all games.
You Manta, or you ult dodged the dude. What a player.
Yeah, that's actually what I wanted to do right there. Like,
yeah, I'm sure.
Ultimate is coming.
Uh-huh.
But what I hate about it is that the effect still stays on, so my healing ward is useless.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you had it on you.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you should have wand.
No, even if you...
Yeah.
I know, but even if you, like, you're in Omni Slash, you still get hit by the...
Yeah, and now the game's over.
I think. Yep.
Did you have another replay, or did you have any questions about this one?
So do you think that, like, the small mistakes in laning phase, for example, are, like, do they have heavy impact?
Oh yeah, definitely.
What's happening right now?
Literally, your last hitting probably could have won you this game. If you last hit correctly, you got your Quelling Blade, you got all your last hits, you probably could have won the game just based off of that. Because you would have got your phase boot sooner, which would have made you dominate the lane instead of it being contestable, just by getting kills, and then you would get your Battle Fury like 3 minutes sooner, which means you get like an extra 1,000 gold by the time that you would have, or in the game that you got your last hits. Let's say it's game A and game B. Game A is where you got the last hits perfectly. Game B is where you didn't. By the time that you get your Battle Fury in game B, you would have had like 1,000 more gold in game A, and you would have been halfway to Yasha. And then when you get your Yasha, you would have been like 1,200 gold away, in front of the game B, and then it snowballs from there. And then maybe you get your Manta sooner, and your Manta helps you kill somebody, and then you like you're getting this Lincoln's, or the Lincoln Sphere. I think you went Basher, but if you were ahead, you probably would have felt better getting a Diffusal, and then you could have maybe destroyed this guy, especially because does he? Oh, they moved it to 20. You probably still couldn't have done shit to this guy, but your Diffusal Blade still would have made you do a ton of damage to, like, everyone.
I like, literally, Juggernaut is a hero that I've been picking up only, like, lately, in the last games.
Yeah.
Last, like, 3-4 days.
Yeah.
So, I never actually played the Diffusal Juggernaut, except a long time ago, maybe, when I just failed, because I usually failed on this hero. I didn't know how to play him.
Yeah. Diffusal Blade's really good with Manta if you're ahead. But, like, you don't really have the stats to go with if you're behind, at least in my opinion. Because
the Battle Fury is just so good that I don't even see why I will get a Diffusal.
Well, you could go Battle Fury, Manta, Diffusal. Is what I'm saying.
That sounds greedy.
Yeah, it works if you're ahead, which you could have been if you got your last hits and then you got your Battle Fury. Because every minute that you delay your Battle Fury, you're losing like 500 gold. Or not, you get a ton more gold per minute with a Battle Fury, probably like 200 or 300. And if you had that for 3 more minutes, that's like 1,000 gold right there, and whatever experience.
Yeah, this was like less stunned, whatever.
Yeah, so do you have any other questions, or do you just want to go to another game?
Yeah, let's do another game.
Okay.
I wonder which one. I have more that are kinda interesting in some ways and not interesting in other ways. I have another Juggernaut loss. With in a party. That's...
Is it this one?
Yep. And this time the lane one went awful.
That's good.
Well, in a way. Like, I mean, not like awful, but it should have gone so much better.
This is a game where I'd get BKB. This guy's all magic. This guy's
Lincoln.
What's Lincoln's gonna do?
Meepo got a hex.
Yeah.
So I wanted that. I mean, with a BKB, maybe I will be able to BKB out of it like before the hex, like 50% of the time or something.
Well, it's kind of like you just have to play around the Meepo being able to get on you, and with
also. Yeah, that's one thing. Also, another thing is that it helps against Morph combo.
Yeah.
Like, it's really annoying if you have a Lincoln's against for Morphling, right? Because he can't just do the combo.
So if you get your Lincolns and you just stop their combo when they try and go on you, how are you gonna go on them at all with your team composition?
Earthshaker. Only way, and that's the only way we did it.
Yeah, you have these heroes don't like do anything. Like they don't go in fights.
Tanka actually did.
Well, he doesn't. How do I word it? Not that they don't do anything. It's just like they aren't bodies in a team fight. Yeah, exactly. And then this guy's like still he kind of is, but kind of isn't. Like, this guy should be just focusing on the Meepo. And then if you have a Lincoln Sphere, like...
I actually told him to focus on the Morphling because... Well, this was an unranked game, so I just picked Juggernaut because I wanted to play Juggernaut.
Yeah.
Right? But, of course, the matchup against Morphling is kind of hard. You can't kill Morphling with Juggernaut unless, like, you can't do it with your usual way with Omnislash.
Yeah.
Just unkill. And that's why the matchup is kind of hard. Here I pressed Q by mistake and I wondered, do I go back to base for the mana? And then, nah.
But it's just kind of like, without a BKB, you can't fight them, is basically what I'm trying to get at.
Okay. Yeah, because we don't have a frontliner, I didn't
understand. And it's kind of like, yeah, this gives you magic immunity, but it's like for 5 seconds, and you can't auto-attack during it.
Yeah, I know that.
So it's kind of like, yeah, it is a BKB, but it's not like enough, is what I'm getting at. And if they have a Lincoln Sphere, or if you have a Lincoln Sphere and you take a fight, what if this guy just throws a Q on you?
Right.
Then, like, this guy can combo you. This guy can combo you. This guy can just ult you. Or if you don't have Manta up and this guy ults, then you're also screwed.
Time I get the Killing Blade immediately. The pull there and again let's hitting on the tower. This was the game that I was like before this, I think. Yeah, but okay. Yeah, Viper is really easy to spin, right?
Yeah.
He has no moving speed. And here I miss the animation attack.
Yeah. I mean, this is fine because it's actually almost better that you don't get the kill.
That's exactly what I say to Lich. Like, this is better.
You got the salve.
Because I know, first of all, I got the salve, and second of all, like.
But the thing with that
is. I know
is
from playing offlane that the worst thing that can happen is not die so early and have to go to work back to base.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
But now the creep wave is pushed, and you can't zone them out with the creep wave pushed, really. Yeah. Like now it doesn't matter if he has 1 health right now, because you can't do anything to him. You should be getting your boots and your wand here. You didn't use your quick buy, so...
yeah, I don't...
And here, you want to be pulling these guys onto your range creep. Because that will kill off your range creep, and oftentimes their melee creeps will stay... Or your melee creeps will stay on their melee creeps, but their melee creeps will go onto your range creep, so that's a way that you can pull back the lane.
I know that very well. I think what's happening here is I'm arguing with Lich.
Oh.
That he's pulling. That's why I didn't buy thing, and that's why I didn't that's why I do this late. Yeah, and that's why I missed 2 less hits.
It's the Lich's fault.
Well, see what happens now with that play. That's like if I did what you said, right? If I just aggroed the creeps, killed the ranged creep, or if Lich comes and kills 1 creep, then the lane pushes back, and now it's not pushed again. Well, now it will be just fine, but luckily I realized that I can just do this, and he's gone. Well, it takes a while, but he dies.
Yeah. Ends up being fine, but I would have rather you done the range creep thing. Like, there's nothing, you don't lose anything by doing it.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'd fly out a Clarity with the phase boots. Just kind of like, cause why not? And you can spend 50 gold now. You know that eventually you're gonna have mana problems. And
do I don't really have very often mana problems.
Well, it's like right now, if you can spin once, or yeah, you can spin twice, but it's just kind of like, what happens when you're level 6 and you drop your ult, and then he comes back to lane, then you don't have any mana.
Or in fact, I think in this game I fly the Clarity exactly at that point.
Yeah, it's like right now, you have the wand charge, so it's fine. But like if you want to drop your healing ward instead, of using your clarity or your salve, it's just kind of like it's 50 gold, and at some point you're gonna, just because Juggernaut has such a low pool, and his spells cost so much.
Yeah, you're gonna use it anyway.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you might as well. You could have went for that kill. You had the mana. If you use your wand?
Yep.
And you chase for like an extra second or two.
Here I thought, okay, there are 2 creeps here. Don't chase. And then when I go back, I realize that I killed 1 creep.
Yeah.
And that I could have chased.
Yeah.
And I think these are things that I'm not used on the hero, and that's exactly what I'm doing.
Like right here, the clarity would have been amazing, right?
Yep, I think it's flying.
Well, yeah, you're gonna get it. Like you're not gonna be any kill threat.
Yeah, it's late.
And you get 2 of them also.
Look at the clarities.
Yeah.
Then I realized that Lich has 2. Okay, so lane didn't go that bad, but I felt it was going horrible. Because Viper was getting XP and he really shouldn't have. If the Lich played correctly, this Viper would be level 2. I think.
This is kind of like you're not going to kill a Morphling unless he horribly screws up.
Yep, this is where I realized.
And it's also, when you leave a lane that you're winning, it's horrible. Because you're going to go back to the lane and the Viper is going to be a lot stronger.
People were crying that the Morphling is getting big, and I felt forced to do something. And that's what happens to me, like, pretty often.
Yeah, it's just kind of like...
that I kind of feel forced to try to do something.
I'm just gonna say right now, you shouldn't.
Doesn't really work out.
Yeah, like that just wasn't a good play. And then also another thing with Juggernaut, if you spin and then M click somebody, you spin a lot better. You know, do you have move command? It should be default
with
M.
With the M, the M is far. So.
Well, it's you need to be doing it. It's just like better because you would have killed the silencer if you did it. I think. Like he gets away from you, and
yeah. I think phase. I used phase too early there. And,
well, I mean, you didn't. If you just M clicked him, you would have been fine.
Yeah. Okay. And now I want to go top, but I don't have a TP, and that's sad. And I die here because of this. I do die.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have dived there if you M-clicked him before and killed him, so you wouldn't have dived in there.
Yeah, that's sad.
And now you're coming back to the lane, the Viper's level 6, he would have been like level 4 right now. You were ahead enough that you could have like zoned the shit out of him.
That's true. And what happened is I tried to shut down Morphling, and what happened is I gave him a kill on me.
Yeah.
Guy says I'm fine, I tell him he's not fine, and I'm like, okay, that's what should I? This was really? Yes. I don't know.
Oh,
it looked
okay.
fine, but it looked fine at the start, but
I think the main thing right here is what are you trying to do in the next 5 minutes?
I'm trying to. I'm pissed that my team came to this lane because I wanted to farm here and like not have them come here in 5, right?
Yeah.
And take this tower while they are doing something else of the map, right? So I'm kind of annoyed that they come here.
Well, it's kind of like they can't do anything else. If they go mid, the Meepo's gonna kill them. They can't gank the Meepo. And then the Earth Spirit's getting as much out of the off lane as he would if there were 3 people there. So they can't really do much else, but what I was trying to get at was you just want to get your Battle Fury and farm some. So,
yeah, that's true.
So going for kills is like, if they're free, it's good, but like, if else, just kind of like don't bother with it. And you could have TP'd out right here. You could have like TP'd to the shrine.
I didn't feel threatened here. I thought I was doing fine. I didn't feel like I was gonna die.
Then you should have dropped your healing ward.
And here, and I was actually fine. I wanted to go that way, right? I wanted to go in my jungle, right before you saw my movement.
Yeah.
And then I realized the leech is going for more, and he baits me. Well, that's like my bad.
Yeah.
If I just run to my jungle, right, then I'm fine. I think they wouldn't have caught me.
Well, I think when you see two people TPing, they definitely want to be...
I didn't see them. I realized that too late.
Well, you saw the Viper TP, and then you saw the Skyrath TP. And then I think the Morphling overlapped with the Skyrath.
Probably missed that.
Yeah.
Probably missed that, the Skyrath TP.
Oh.
I definitely missed that.
Okay.
I only realized he's coming when I got the Arcane Bolt on the
okay.
board, like the concussive shot.
Yeah, so there it's just kind of like get better at map awareness, I guess.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
Yeah, it's just kind of like
Nice try here for me.
Yeah. With map awareness, it's kind of
like.
Go ahead.
Okay. Talk about map
okay.
awareness.
Map awareness is kind of like when you, at least for my progression with the map awareness was when I get so experienced in the game that it's kind of like I don't have to think about how fights go. I just kind of like predict how they go and then like muscle memory react. Then you can think more about map awareness, I think. Did you ever play any like sports growing up or anything like that?
No.
Play any other games or anything?
Not as much as Dota.
Okay. Well, it's kind of the way that I put it is, if you play football for like 10,000 hours, you don't really have to think about like running your pattern or whatever, or like going for the quarterback. You kind of just like react and do the correct thing. And then when it becomes just a reaction, a lot of this is you're just going for kills that you don't need. But when it, what was I saying? When everything becomes reactions, then you can start thinking about bigger picture things and let your, like, I guess subconscious mind worry about the smaller things. Does that make sense?
I think so.
So it's kind of like, a lot of it is just getting experience to the point where you don't have to think about everything that you do.
Yeah, I understand what you're talking about.
Okay.
I mean, I played the drums. I think that's
yeah.
similar.
Eventually, a song.
I was not extremely good at it, but
yeah.
I did feel the process.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you ever learned like a whole song or a part of a song. When you first do it, you have to think about every single beat that you do.
Yep.
But then when you get into it, you like just kind of like remember it, and then you can think about other things on top of it.
That's what I was thinking. Like in the later days, can you like see that I'm hitting the crits in a way that like minimizes the amount of hits to kill them?
Yeah.
I don't know. I use the Battle Fury too, and I was thinking lately that I'm just wasting too much time, too much of my attention on that.
It's.
I mean, I think it's, and my thought process was that, yeah, that's true, but also I should not stop doing it because, like, I should just get better at it.
Yeah.
And not stop doing it.
It's kind of like tread switching, where a lot of people are like, "Well, is it worth doing it at X MMR?" And I'm like, "Well, you're gonna have to do it eventually." And it's just kind of like something that you have to start doing.
Also, like that's a really good example because thread switching is on some heroes for me, for example, it just comes so naturally that I just don't do without.
And that's where you want to get at with team fights, where you can just kind of like predict what's going to happen. And most of that is kind of like identifying what their threats are before the fight happens, and then you can kind of like start processing it. before it immediately happens. So this game, I would be worried about this guy's silence, and then this guy just blowing you up, and then eventually this guy getting a sheep stick and also blowing you up. And with those in mind, then you can be like, all right, well, I want to get a manta, and then whenever somebody mantas me, like if this guy silences me, I'll manta, and then if I think that the silencer might ult, I'll just spin early and TP out, or like the best thing that you can do is like, how are they gonna kill you within 3 seconds if you're spinning? They don't have the physical.
Yeah.
They don't have.
Way, that's what actually I was talking about with my team after the game. That the only way is Meepo and Morphling hitting me at the same time.
Yeah. So if you're ever in a threat, you can just spin and TP out, and like there's nothing they can do about that. So processing that before the fight happens allows you to think about other things during the fight, or like if you know what your threats are gonna be, then and you figure out what your reaction is, all that's left to do is to do it instead of thinking about what do I do, and that will save you like 0.3 seconds, and it will also allow you to think about other things so you can add more to what you're doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I've always struggled with like I'm being self-conscious, right? I think sometimes that I really do not think enough about how team fights go. That's why I was saying that I want to go more over like mid-game decisions and well, I didn't say team fights, but I thought it, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I really try to consciously think about what do I do in team fights now. Before it was all like reaction like on the moment, right?
Yeah.
On the moment thinking, with zero predicting, right?
Yeah.
Right now I try to think about it before. Viper is coming for the extra jumps on Omni Slash. Thank you.
Yep, thanks. You're on the right path. And the best thing that you can do to improve that is to think about what the fight is going to be. What are your threats before the fight? Like, just go through all of your games and be like, what can kill me? What combination of things have to happen for me to die? And what can I do about them? And right here, you've used your Omni Slash and you've used your spin. At about right now-ish, I'd get on top of him, and then when he's basically dead, right? And you're gonna kill him with the.
I'm not sure if I need another hit.
Okay.
That's.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. What I was gonna say, it was closer than I thought.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say is you could have. TP'd out while killing him, knowing that he doesn't have enough time to run out, because you don't know where their Morphling is, you don't know where their Meepo is. You could very well have just died right there.
And that's why I don't TP after that.
Yeah.
I just run because...
It's kind of like if you got a second of your TP off while spinning, it would have been like probably fine to TP there, but if you don't get any of your...
Now I see the Morphling top, so I'm fine here, but... Yeah.
Good.
Goodbye. So they're all bottom, and I just wanna be away from them.
The thing that you have to be careful with...
Someone here.
Yeah, the thing that you want to be careful with this, though, and it's a very hard thing to balance, is...
And I actually did this twice, like the TP cooldown, right?
Yeah, they could just push your base right now, and you wouldn't be able to do anything about it.
Here I die. Because I didn't expect that much force. And slow reactions on the Blade Fury, I guess. Maybe I could have...
Part of it is knowing that this is just a spot he can TP to. So if you were like...
position.
Well, you could have just Quelling Blade one of these trees, or positioned right here or something. And you would have been able to know it. And this is just kind of like, this is just a gimmick that you're going to run into. And then you can realize, if you Quelling Bladed this tree, you wouldn't have died here, right?
Yep.
So it's just kind of like realizing that, and that's just kind of like how Dota is. And then like, if you're pushing this tower, you have to watch for them TPing there, or if you're pushing this tower, they might TP like there, depending on where your creeps are. Here's another one. Here's another one. Or I think it's this one.
No,
it's both of
side,
these.
There are 2 places.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like knowing. You die if they TP in and you don't know about it, and you're too slow. So how you fight that is you either position so that you can see the only places where they can TP in, or you just cut down the fucking tree that's blocking your path.
The thing here, the problem is not that I didn't realize I could cut the tree, right? The problem here was that I didn't realize that Morphling could kill me so fast.
Well, it's kind of like...
I mean, I thought that even if Morphling TPs, I can spin TP out.
Well, yeah, it's just kind of like, well, the only reason that you wouldn't do it is because you're worried about the cooldown of your Battle Fury. Does that make sense?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no reason for you not to cut the tree down. It only puts you in more risk.
Okay, yeah, that's also true.
And it's like...
I'm just saying that if I thought about Morphling being able to burst me, I would have positioned better. Okay. Probably would not think about cutting the tree, but I would position better, I think.
Well, it's like the Meepo could have TP'd and sheeped you. Or, like the Skywrath could have TP'd, and then the Silencer could have ulted after your Manta, and they could have had somebody TP here. But if any of that happens, they have to TP one person here first.
Alright.
So it's like you're leaving yourself... You're giving the opponents an opportunity to kill you for no reason. But yeah, so do you have any final questions? We're a little bit past the hour now.
Oh, okay. I mean, you've looked at how like my game goes.
Yeah.
I want to know if you feel like I have a big problem in camera movement and checking other lanes, what they are doing, and I don't know if you paid attention to it.
Like, it's kind of like you have other problems that you want to worry about before you do that. Like the what I'm thinking you're asking about is in the early game. Is that like a lot of like
whole game actually?
Okay.
Like realizing what. Sometimes, I think that I have a problem with realizing what state the enemy heroes are, right?
Okay, yeah.
Like, what item they have. So I get surprised a lot of times. Like, I got surprised by Morphling being so strong. I think I get surprised at some point by Meepo having a Hex. Things like that.
I think that is a problem, but it's not your most urgent problem to fix.
Okay.
So, like, I'd rather have you fix your last hitting, cut down this tree.
Last hitting was fine.
Well, it was in this game, but the other game you missed like 400 or 500 gold by like.
That was one of the bad ones. Yeah, but
yeah.
Okay.
And it's if you can just like stop those from happening, you're gonna gain a lot of MMR. Just by being consistently getting like 90% plus of your last hits instead of 70% of your games you get 80 plus, and then 30% you just miss a fuck ton. And if you can fix that, then your win rate's going to go up a lot. And that's like one of the easiest things you can fix. You just every day go last hit for 3 minutes, and that'll fix it eventually. And probably only in like a week or two.
I usually do like 2600 here, there, 2600. Something like that, 26, 27.
What you mean? Last hits?
The score, yeah, the score. The game thing.
That doesn't matter too much, because that can change based off of the game, regardless of how... Like, a pro could be at the same last hits you're at right now, at 29 minutes, and it could be amazing that he's at 200 last hits right now.
No, I meant the training, man. The 3 minutes training.
Oh, what you mean 200? What?
It has a score. It's 2600.
Oh, I don't look at that at all because that doesn't that doesn't matter much. Because it's based off of streaks and stuff. It's a lot more important to write down your last hits and denies. Because a lot of the points, it's based off of your streaks. So...
No, it's not.
Is it not?
Yeah, 100 points per last hit, 50 per game.
Okay. You might be right then. But yeah, I write down the last hits and the denies because I think that's more important. Because, like, I don't value, especially on Shadow Fiend, I don't value a last hit as twice as important as a deny.
Alright.
But yeah. So I'd say just do this once a day. It's the best return on investment for time that you're gonna get until you're like very proficient with last hitting. And then that's probably the most impact that you're gonna have from everything that we talk about this lesson. And then the other stuff is kind of like the way that I explain it is if you put you know CS:GO, the shooter game?
Yeah.
If you put a professional CS:GO player against a complete noob in a 1v1, where the professional CS:GO player has perfect positioning and knows all of the information about the game and all of that, but you change his mouse sensitivity or you make it randomly shake or some shit to where he has like a 1% accuracy, and then you give the absolute noob aimbot, the noob is going to destroy the professional player every single time except for the 1% that the pro like gets the headshot. So it's kind of like getting your last hitting up to par is just kind of like that's just like starting the game. Does that make sense? Like that's
okay.
the
yeah. No, I mean when I started playing Dota in Dota 1, I used to do like 10 minutes training with Shadow Fiend on like just 10 minutes last hit challenge, right?
It's more important to do it consistently than it is for a long time. I'd rather have you do 3 minutes a day for 5 days a week rather than 60 minutes for 1 day a week. Just because how muscle memory works, it's based a lot on you sleeping. So you doing it for 3 minutes and then sleeping on it, and then doing it for 3 minutes and then sleeping on it, doing it for 3... It's a lot more impactful than doing it for 60 minutes and then sleeping on it and then waiting an entire week to do it again. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
That sounds good.
So yeah, do you have any final questions or anything?
No.
Okay. Alright, so yeah, I'll get that video up and then I'll link it to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Please do.
Yep. Alright, so yeah, I think we